Well, good morning everybody. Come along for a little drive with me to work this morning if you like. I'm in East Auckland, New Zealand. We're going to head for the Southern Motorway and head north over the Harbour Bridge. Weather today is it's okay, a little cool, and has been raining overnight, and at the moment we're looking at 6 o'clock local time, 6 a.m. So we're travelling today in my 2007 Toyota Yaris or Vitz. It's a 5-door hatchback, 1.3 litre engine, twin overhead cam, variable valve timing, fuel injected, automatic transmission, very economical car for commuting. This model is the S model with the 8 airbags. It has electric power steering, push button start stop, and entry through the door handle with proximity. So a nice little car. We're heading on a road known as Highbrook. And this will lead us onto the Southern Motorway. Gas prices here have risen a bit recently, getting close now to $3 New Zealand a litre for the 91 unleaded. road here normally flows fairly well this time in the morning. Later on it gets pretty heavy. It's the main route from the eastern suburbs over to the southern motorway. And we'll see the motorway being fairly heavy, I'd imagine. If I strike the motorway at about 5:45, it's not too bad. It's still fairly heavy, but when we get onto it shortly, we'll see it'll be fairly heavy, I imagine. So we're going to head over the Harbour Bridge and head to the north shore of Auckland. I think this time in the morning we'll probably have our lane lights on here that prevents us from just entering straight onto the motorway. We'll see if they turned on this morning. Yeah, they are. It's meant to be one vehicle per light change, but typically people just make a run for it. It's always interesting to see the people that obey it and those that just ignore it. The idea is to make it a bit easier for merging. If you hit this area here just before 6 o'clock, the lights haven't turned on yet. That guy's in a hurry. So's that guy. So you sort of wonder a little bit. I don't think there's any cameras here to catch you, but well, you know. We'll go on the next screen, okay? Being a very law-abiding citizen that I am. There we go, we're on the motorway. I normally go across one more lane when I get a chance, because this lane disappears in a few kilometres. Then I stay in this lane pretty much all the way to the North Shore. This time in the morning the bridge is 8 lanes, by the way, 4 in the morning. It should be about 4 each way. Later on they move the centre section so that they can make it like 3 and 5. I tend to go on the outside edge, but on the inside lane of the bridge. I sort of feel that I'm not trapped there. If something happens on the bridge, I'm off to the side and there's a better opportunity to get out of any issues, breakdowns ahead of you and things like that. When you're actually on the bridge itself in the centre sections, you're pretty much stuck in that area. Right, now we've got to cross to this lane. Now this model of Vitz actually has the CVT transmission, which you hear them wind up a little bit as you take off. You get used to them over time. I've owned this car now for, gosh, it must be getting close to 10 years, I suppose. It's now done 100,000 kilometres, and I nursed it along pretty well. I'll just pull back a bit here, give this a bit more space. That's about right. we're sitting on 60 k's, 60 kilometers an hour at the moment. So this is a 100-kilometer road here, so we're a little bit heavy at the moment. So this turn off up here on the left, this is the exit that takes you over to Mount Wellington, and if I was in that lane still, it disappears into that exit. Then you got the issue of, you know, somebody maybe not letting you in. Kiwi drivers can be pretty tough for that, you know. I've always found that in this country that you don't get people that are so generous in letting you come across into their lane, like I notice when I drive in other countries. For example, if I'm driving in America or in the UK or even in Australia, I find people tend to be a lot more accommodating. If you sometimes just made a genuine mistake, you just find yourself in the wrong lane and you need to change over. Here there's like this sort of arrogance of you're not going to get one car ahead of me. The crazy thing is none of us are going anywhere fast anyway, so I would be in that situation and I'm quite happy to let this guy come in. It's no big deal. So now we've slowed down to 10 kilometers an hour on the motorway. We're moving though, which is quite nice because it's not unusual to be just stopped doing nothing at all. So it's 6:17 now in the morning. I will be starting my job at 7 o'clock, and if everything goes well, I should be arriving at my job at around about 6:45. I like to get to work you know, before my starting time. I feel that's the proper thing to do. I'm a bit old school like that. I feel it's important to you know, have that punctuality to my job. So we've just come out of daylight saving last weekend, and it's fairly dark now in the morning. It's starting to lighten off, and then it's going to go, I think, darker still as we get a little bit more into winter, and we get that shorter stay coming up. So there you go, we're cruising now at about 80 kilometers an hour, which typically is about the maximum speed you get up to. The fleet on the New Zealand roads these days is a fairly new fleet, to be honest. You know, my vehicle is getting on a bit in time. It's you know, nearly 20 years old now, like about, what is it, about 18 years old or so. So, you know, you find a lot of vehicles that are much newer than this on the road these days. I guess you know, that's just the way things are. I'm not too sure really what it's all about, because I'm sure some people you know, have really put a lot of cash down to get into these later model cars. I mean, my vehicles, as you know, the age of my vehicles, you know, they're getting on a little bit. Even my Mercedes now is 20. But I see no reason in just flicking a vehicle off just to get the sort of the fashion, if you like, of the latest shapes, when the current vehicles I have are perfectly adequate. They're reliable, they run well. I don't have much capital tied up in them, and because I do my own maintenance, I can keep an older car on the road. So that's an older Holden. Not seeing so many Holdens and Falcons on the road these days, because I think the price of gas gets those big 6-cylinder vehicles off the road. You'll see a lot of cars on the motorway here are hybrids and 4 cylinders. A lot of these little Toyota Aquas, they're an import from Japan. These ones are, I think, a 1500 Atkinson cycle engine with the hybrid battery system. They're very common. But see, a low mileage one of those will cost you about maybe 12,000 New Zealand dollars second hand. Whereas the little Vitzes here, they sit around about $4,000, so a lot more affordable. So if we keep up this pace, we should arrive at work around about that 6:45 period that I try to aim at. Sometimes I get there a little bit earlier. Yeah, so this weekend is when the guy will turn up and pick up my old 1990 XR250R dirt bike. So I think he's going to come on Sunday and take it. So that'll free up a bit of space in my garage. I'll then wheel the DRZ 250 in there and start getting completion on that project. I don't have too much to do on it. I've recovered the seat. I'm going to stretch new tyres onto it. I'll put Pirellis on it, of course. I like the Pirelli Scorpions. I'll put those tyres onto it and it should sharpen itself up quite nicely. I'm going to stick new brake pads front and rear. And I have to actually replace the starter clutch in it. That's the little unit that allows you to have the kick start and the electric start. It's not, I might be able to free it up with the little rollers in there, but it's at the moment it's not operational, and you can't, the kick start just slips, it doesn't actually engage. The electric start works fine on it, so I'll get that part working so I can have both electric and kick start on it, and then I'll give it a a refresh so I can actually get it out on the trails and see how it performs. And I'm hopeful it's going to be quite a tough bike actually, and it should be a nice replacement for my XR. I think the DRZ is about a 2005, and it's got the twin cam engine. It's got the flat slide carb on it, standard. Oh, that's right, I'm still waiting for the gasket kit to arrive for that carb so I can finish off the rebuild on that. And so that's sort of one of my current projects going on at the moment. It's starting to lighten up a little bit now. Off to my side, to my right hand side, I'm looking out towards the CBD, and it's the east, and that's where the sun will be coming up from. It's going over a part here called the Newmarket Viaduct and past the Westfield Shopping Centre for Newmarket. Here we'll sort of head down towards the Harbour Bridge. The traffic's flowing quite nice, so we're sitting on a steady 80 k's, which is actually the speed limit in this section anyway, although it's not always really followed. So I'm sure a lot of you that will view this video are quite familiar with this particular stretch of the Auckland motorway. But for those of you that my out of New Zealand subscribers, this is little old New Zealand. It's probably the biggest bit of roading that we actually have in the country. Ahead of us is the Sky City Tower. Just going to start dropping down a little bit here. And I really do thank all of you that do subscribe to my small channel. It just gives me the encouragement to add to it slowly. I'm certainly not what you'd call a real hard out YouTuber. I just like to do little videos on things which I think may be helpful to people that are working on projects similar to mine. And then I thought, well, let's take you along on my daily commute. And this is where a little bit of my time goes each day. Getting to work is around about an hour, but coming home from work can quite easily take even up to 2 hours. The traffic will be a lot heavier this afternoon coming back. Right ahead of us, probably out of view of this camera, is the Harbour Bridge off to the left. We're going to drop down now through a tunnel section, and then we're going to make our way around the harbour and into the bridge. There's a few of these little electric leafs on the road. Don't think I'm ready to go electric at this stage. I'd go hybrid before I go electric, that's for sure. But to be honest, I don't think these little Vitzes are too bad on fuel consumption. This was actually a trench that they just put a cap on top of it. So it's not actually a true tunnel. Now as we come out of here, I typically will go across one lane to the left, and that'll just line me up nicely for my approach to the bridge. So we'll do that now, there's nothing behind me. We have had a lot of heavy winds or high winds here in Auckland, and the bridge has been had its speed reduced, and also the number of lanes open have been reduced. I think they get a bit nervous about the bridge, in the high winds. Maybe the integrity of the structure now is something that's on their mind. It's getting on in years now. It was built in the 1950s. I don't know what its lifespan is. I guess it should last 100 years. So we're just about to enter the bridge here. And it's starting to get a little bit lighter now. Okay, so they have actually already moved that centre concrete section across, and so we've just got 3 lanes going north, and there's 5 lanes going south, and those 5 lanes look to be fairly full. Off to my left, out of the view of the camera, is the Chelsea sugar refinery, and I notice there's a bulk carrier there right now. Should be discharging sugar. That was what I was doing in my younger days, working as a ship's electrician, bringing sugar from Fiji down here to New Zealand for refining. And that's the only ship that would go under this bridge. So the ships that bring sugar to that refinery are the only ships that go under this bridge. So all of the rest of our shipping is on the other side of the bridge. So I would feel that something like what has happened in Baltimore is fairly unlikely to happen here on the Auckland Harbour Bridge. We just don't have the amount of shipping running under it. But it certainly made me wonder when I saw the Baltimore disaster, such a tragedy. We all felt a lot of sadness when we saw that on TV. Our situation here, it's quite a wide shipping lane between the two inner piers of the bridge, but they don't have any extra protection, that's for sure. There's no sort of false island landmass around the piers. It's just they're totally exposed, to be honest. So staying in this lane is just good because it allows me to exit up here, which will take me over to the Takapuna area of the North Shore. I'm heading towards Devonport on the North Shore to a road called Lake Road. Just looking over to my right, the harbour is flat as a pancake. It looks really beautiful, and I can see Rangitoto Island with the sun coming up behind it. It looks really lovely. So we're sitting now on 100. Everything's flowing quite nicely at this stage, and we're just going to exit here. So the little Vitz is sitting on about 1500 RPM at 100 Ks. So this model has the rev counter and speedo on the dash. My other Vitz that I drive is a standard model, and it doesn't have the rev counter, it just has a large speedo. Also a little bit annoying on that model, it doesn't have the intermittent it has intermittent wipers, but it doesn't have the adjustable time function that this one has. So this has got just all the nice features in a little compact 5-door. And here we go. That was just going over the motorway. Now we're heading down towards Takapuna, and we'll turn right into Lake Road. Looks quite heavy there entering the motorway. I think that will be slow because they'll have the stop-go lighting going on to the motorway. I'm going to be facing that later on this afternoon with a similar tail. So it can easily take you, sometimes it's taking me over half an hour to get from this point where I am now onto the actual motorway. It's not unusual, to be honest. So there's a bit of engine sound there. I'm only doing, that just took it up to 1500 just to move off, and now I'm back down to 1000 RPM at 60 Ks, which I better slow down. I might have cameras here. I don't want another traffic fine. I got one a little while ago doing, what was I doing, 70 in a 60 K zone, and that cost me $80. That was a bit upsetting. What upset me more is that I didn't see the camera, but it certainly got me, that's for sure. Anyway, that was up to 50, and I think we're still on 50 along here. The camera's getting a little bit overexposure with going into the sun. As I turn to the right here, the colour should come right again, so sorry about that. The actual colour, the lightness isn't too bad actually. What I can see, it's not too bad, but I see the camera's gone a little bit dark here for a moment. So we're going to turn right here, and this will take us down to Devonport. to the right, to the left, it takes you to Takapuna shopping area, and right through these houses in front of us is the sea, and it just looks absolutely magnificent. It's just flat. It's looking right out into the harbour area. So I'm not going to do any cruises this year, but well, sort of am. In December I'm going to do a cruise, a bit of an interesting one. We've hired a houseboat for the Murray River in South Australia, and we're going to spend a week, I guess, driving this houseboat up the Murray River. I'm hoping that doesn't end up in disaster. So my siblings and myself and my wife have shipped in together to hire this houseboat, so that's going to be our cruise for 2024. In 2025, hoping to do another cruise on the Nordam. I'm looking at picking it up this time in Sydney and going up through Hawaii and on to Vancouver. So that's going to be, that's on the cards for 2025. So that will be around about mid-April in 2025. I'll let you know a bit more about that as that gets closer to the time. If anyone's thinking about cruises, I've got to say I'd recommend Holland America Line anytime, especially for my age group. So I'm in my 60s, and very comfortable ships, really great entertainment for the older people as well. Just really nice ships, sort of more of the traditional cruise ships. They look really nice too. They've got a really nice lines to them, and the Nordam and the Oosterdam, they are my favourites, that's for sure, of that Vista class. So we're heading down Lake Road now. We're actually getting a reasonably good run this morning. It's just turned 6:38, so I should be at work in the next 10 minutes. This can flow down here quite easily. Most of the traffic coming down here will be for the Devonport Ferry car park, which those people will then take the ferry across to the CBD of Auckland. So anyway, getting close to my finish point. I hope you have enjoyed a bit of a view of my daily commute from the eastern suburbs of Auckland, New Zealand, to the North Shore of Auckland, New Zealand. And if you're thinking of coming over as a tourist, please do. The country needs you to come across. We're still trying to build up again our numbers of tourists, and I think that they are also, really keen to have immigrants coming in here. There's a lot of job opportunities, especially in the trades areas. My trade is electrician, and I know there's opportunities for electricians still. One of the jobs that I do is actually training or assessing, if you like, overseas electricians so that they can get registration as a New Zealand electrician. So we get a lot coming in still from South Africa, from Fiji, and from India, and from the UK. They're probably our main areas of immigration at the moment. We'll just take that orange, thank you very much. Oh, looks like we've got a fire engine down here, something's going on. Hope you're not too serious. Looks like it's an ambulance there as well. Maybe it is a little bit serious. It's going the other way. Oh my gosh, there's actually two ambulances there. Can't see anything going on, probably down to one of the homes there. Hopefully everything's going okay there and they're getting the help they need. Yeah, so we're just turned 6:40 at the moment. probably a few minutes behind, but not too bad where I normally am. It's just hard to tell sometimes how the commute's going to go with the traffic flow. Sometimes you get a bit more of a run at the 100 k's an hour, and that sort of gets you a bit further along. Through here is typically about this pace anyway. I think the speed limit pretty much is about 50 or 60. I'm sitting on 50 at the moment. Looks like even that's upsetting this silly oh, there we go, 49, 48. It seems to be happy with that. 42, okay. So this area here, they're getting prepared for Anzac Day, which is next Thursday, and that's a big thing for New Zealand and Australia. It's actually a day where we will celebrate and remember all of the service people of the past conflicts. So okay, I'll say goodbye for now, and I'll catch you a little bit later on. Thank you very much for viewing, and have a great day, everybody. Bye.